Oh, Canada, hey, if you're with us, I want to hear from you on this trade. I've been barking for the better part of 6 months to a year that this general manager, Pat Verbeek in Anaheim, has to do something to turn the corner with this perennial last place, not a playoff franchise. And they're playing collectively, they're playing better. I open a big East Coast road trip. They play the Montreal Canadiens tonight back there. Ducks make this huge trade with the New York Rangers. They trade a fourth-round draft pick and they trade another defenseman to the Rangers for the Rangers captain, Jacob Trouba. Trouba's huge, big, physical force guy, offensive defenseman. And again, the prototype for Pat Verbeek's defenseman is I want you big, I want you wide, and I want you to be mean. And that's what Trouba is. So he left New York where he was the captain of the team, but there was a falling out between him, coaching staff, and the front office operation. In fact, there's rumors there's going to be a second trade involving maybe Vancouver. They're going to trade one of their other co-captains, get him out of New York. But at the end of the day, they trade for Jacob Trouba and they take on $12 million. What's left in this year's salary, which is about 4.5, and next year's $8 million. Because I was screeching, you got all these high draft picks and they've drafted pretty well, and you're force feeding them all. You got all this unspent free agent money. Why the hell do something to go get veteran players to put around all these kids? Well, they just committed $12 million of their unspent money to get Trouba. But boy, he's a war horse. He is, and he logs a lot of minutes. And so I'll be interested. He makes his debut against Montreal tonight. So the Ducks finally make a deal. But for every piece of good news involving the Ducks, there's got to be something bad. They lose Trevor Zegras again. He missed a large chunk of a year ago with a broken ankle, and now Zegras has gone down. We think he's re-injured the ankle again, and that's really bad because he's not scoring goals this year, not like he did prior. His first 2 years in the league, he had 46 goals, and you thought superstar in the making, and he's really tailed off, and now he's been hurt. It's a third different significant injury he's had in his very young career. We don't know whether he broke the ankle again or whether there's a fracture or a bone chip. He got hit, and he could not skate off the ice. They had to carry him off the ice. So we'll get a better indication, I think, within the next week how long he's going to be out and whether it's a refracture of the broken ankle that he had, which would be devastating to the kid. So that's your hockey hotline update as we march towards into the month of December.
You're right. You've been talking about the Ducks, all these young kids, but I think this is the right way to build a program where you have young guys that are going to be the core of the team. And then you add a veteran to complement, to fill in spots, and I rather than the other way around where you got old veterans that are leading a team like LeBron, with the Lakers. So I think this could be very helpful for the Ducks.
It can be helpful if the kids don't get overwhelmed and they don't get psychologically scarred. I mean, and they're playing an awful lot of young guys up there right now, led by the Swedish #1 pick last year, who I think is pretty good, Leo Carlson, and a young defenseman. They got 3 or 4 young defensemen who are all up there. But when you're a young defenseman and you can't keep the puck out of your net and you're a -15 or a -20 on plus-minus goals scored against while you're on the ice, that's not good for the team. It's not good for your psyche. But they're force-feeding all these guys. But when you got all this cap space, so you go out and make the right acquisition to put around these kids. Now, they've got veterans. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they got Frank Vetrano, who had a good season last year. They got a couple of other veteran guys, but the progress has just been really slow. They got 2 veterans left that they might trade. They're shopping Cam Fowler, who's asked to be traded, who said, I've had enough of this rebuild. And the veteran goaltender, John Gibson, who was injured, sick. He's come back. He's played pretty decently in appearances. But the problem is those guys have big salaries, and clubs are right up against the cap right now. So it's kind of hard to think I can take on John Gibson's salary at 6.5 for the next 3 years. So unless the Ducks are going to pay some of that John Gibson salary so they can move him and get some other veteran player, or move him and get somebody else's second or third round draft pick. So I don't think the Ducks are done dealing, because I think there might be 2 more trades maybe to come. But somewhere along the line, all the kids got to start to play together and show they can actually do this. And then you got to get the right veterans to complement the kids.
It's interesting to compare the Ducks with the Angels, both in Orange County there. The Ducks are trying to make it work. The Angels are, you don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, they're stockpiling guys. I mean, they're signing more people, but they're, as I alluded to last week, which I don't think was taken very well up in Orange County, I said, that's a hell of a pitching staff. They've got 5 number 4 starters on their pitching staff.
That's a very accurate statement.
Well, that is an accurate statement. And they just signed another one an hour ago. They signed a kid by the name of Dakota Hudson, who was a 16-game winner with the St. Louis Cardinals a group of years back. And he bounced from St. Louis to Pittsburgh to Colorado, did not get re-signed. ZRA was 6.18 this past year in Colorado. Angels just signed him about an hour ago. So that's, but again, I have a problem with this because it kind of looks to me that Arte Moreno, who tells everybody, I own the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the number 2 market in the country, but he shops at Dollar General for talent. It's a big issue with me. I think it's a big issue for those fans there. But
I like that crib sheet right there. I mean, because you're constantly taking notes.
I have
throughout
notes
the day.
on everything, and notes all over the house.
Yeah.
None of it's important in terms of my life, but it's important to me in terms of my career.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to keep track of all these number 4 starters.
Don't be bagging on me. I just saw your man's cave. There's a lot of disarray there, too.
Yeah, there is.
Hey, listen, we hope you are enjoying what we're doing, our podcast, Fans Forum.